Hi, and welcome to P226 channel. This is going to be my video on the Masterpiece Arms. I'm going to call it an M11 for this. Kind of some debate on what the name is. Because the M11 was a 380 and this is a 9mm, but you guys don't really care. I'm going to refer to it as the M11. I just want to make it clear for anyone who's watching. I do know the difference. I just really don't give a shit right now. This is a 9mm Mac pistol. And first we're going to talk about the box. When I bought this gun, I bought it brand new and I had it shipped to my FFL, which is something I've never done before. And it's really not as hard as a lot of people make it out to be. Okay, so if you're thinking about doing that, do it. It's a great experience. This is the box it comes in. As you can see, it's a big plastic box. I have to say I was very impressed with it though, because the quality on that box is identical to the quality on this box. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, it's just a box, you're just going to throw it up on a shelf, whatever. No. To me, the box is a sign of quality. If you have a really nice box, it means what's inside it must be pretty good too. And the fact that, this Colt factory box is, I think, made by the same company that makes theirs. I mean, these go for like $55, these Colt boxes. That says something about what they think of their pistol, now doesn't it? Inside of this box, it's just plain Jane. It's a big open cavity. Behind, sorry, it's the other panel. Behind one of these panels of foam there is the manual, which is actually very nice. It's pretty in-depth about everything you'd want to know about this pistol as far as taking care of it and taking it apart and shit. And it's just a very nice case, and I was very impressed with it. So, Masterpiece, if you ever watched this, someone noticed. On to the gun, though. What do we think about the gun? I'm going to throw out the accessories with it too that it comes with. I'm going to start off with the accessories. First off, a disappointment. In all of their advertising, they show a Tapco loader that matches this magazine. And it looks very nice and ergonomic. And what you get is this square block of plastic that is very uncomfortable to use, and I think will eventually wear out. I mean, you can see it gets scraped there by the magazines. This is a piece of junk, and they charge you like 10 or 15 bucks for the Tapco one. Now, really, they should just make a metal one and charge you an extra 10 bucks or whatever for it. It's my opinion, because the Tapco one is going to be shit too. Which brings us to the next little kind of bad thing about this is the magazine it comes with, and it is absolute and total garbage. We'll get to that in another category. This is just kind of getting some shit out of the way. Those are basically the two negative things I have to say about this gun. The rest is going to be very positive. Oh, you also may notice that there's a Hogue handle on there, in which it actually does help this gun a little bit, because otherwise it's kind of like holding a block. And that's a barrel extension. We'll get to that later too. Okay, on to philosophy of use. Sorry, my mouth's kind of dry right now. Philosophy of use for this gun, in my mind, is a home defense gun or a truck gun, maybe. If you're going to seriously use this. I bought this gun for the third POU, which would be a fun gun. This can do near full auto fire very, very well. This thing bump fires like a beast. That would be what I would say it's primarily for, because it's not a very practical handgun. That being said, in a truck gun role, when weight doesn't matter, having a weapon that you can fire in fully automatic bursts is kind of nice. Okay? Not to mention the intimidation factor of bringing out a Mac. hoodlums will know what a Mac is. And I would say its reputation is fairly well earned. And I hear a lot of people say, well, you can't fire like that accurately. I hate to tell you this, but I tried bringing it up where I could see the sights and bump firing it, and you can very easily hit a person-sized target at 25 yards with this gun bump firing. It's not difficult. I could teach someone how to use this gun very effectively in less than 5 minutes. It is a deceptively simple gun. Also, it's very AK-47 like. It's a beast. Yeah, I'm going to move on to track record now. I think that's enough about POU. We all get what this is for. Track record on Macs in general is very poor. The very, very early Macs made by Military Armament Corporation were very good. And the Macs being made now by Masterpiece Arms are very good. Everything in between is kind of garbage, in my opinion. You have to do a lot of work to them to get them right. This gun has a CNC bolt. Let me give you a different view. That huge S bolt in there is actually a CNC machine hunk of steel. And it's awesome. It moves very freely. Let me show you that. One of the main issues I saw with a lot of Macs I looked at was that they would not move freely. That they were, I don't know, in serious need of lubrication. I ran this thing dry, which everyone says, well, Macs like to run wet. Well, I don't, not in my experience. If any gun is made right, you do not need lube, okay? When people say, well, my gun likes to run wet, well, of course it fucking does, because it's fucked up. Just my opinion. Anyway, track record on the Masterpiece Arms guns, very good. Caliber, this is 9mm, which for this gun with a high rate of fire, they make two versions, one 45, one 9mm. I would always pick the 9mm for two reasons. First off is with this high rate of fire, cost of ammunition is critical. And the 9mm gun is a svelte, tiny little thing compared to the 45. The 45 is roughly about the size of this box, with a handle about the size of that gun sticking out the bottom of it. Okay, it's not quite that bad, but it's pretty bad. It's like 4 times the size of that gun pretty easily. So I would always pick the 9mm. It's got a 6.5-inch barrel, I think. 6-inch barrel. One of the two. That's a very long barrel for a 9mm. It's going to hit a little bit harder. For every inch of barrel length, the hitting power of a round goes up pretty significantly, actually. Especially like 9mm. Okay, we're going to move on to magazine now. I'm going to clear the gun out of the way for this because we're going to have to talk about a couple of things. That is Sten mags. Sten mags, everybody says, are impossible to find and super expensive now, and that's why Tapco has made this piece of shit. Do not buy these. These are junk. Everybody thinks, well, the old surplus Sten mags are shit. Well, no, they aren't. I got all of those mags for $10 a piece at a gun show. Guy had a whole table full of magazines. I would suspect you could do the same. And half of them worked, half of them didn't. And for the half that didn't, all I had to do was take a can of rim oil and a bottle brush to it, like you'd use to clean out pipes, and just scrub the hell out of them. And then I ran paper towels through them like patches. Put them back together. They work like a charm. They basically had sand and rust mixed in on the insides of them. But for maybe an hour's worth of work, they're fixed. That's worth it to me because the metal mags are better anyway, and this is why. This mag is made for semi-automatic fire. This is a military issue mag made for fully automatic fire. When you bump fire a mag, you need mags made for a high rate of fire. If you use this one, it will jam. Mine did when bump firing. Switch to the metal mags, no problems. This mag is much easier to load, and there's your difference. The springs in these are beasts. They're extremely heavy for what they are, and that's what makes it really reliable in full auto, or bump fire in this case. Okay, that's enough about magazines. I highly recommend the original Sten mags. You can find them online for about 20 bucks, 15 bucks, somewhere in there. You can find them at gun shows cheaper than that. I highly recommend you check out your local gun show anytime you're looking for something that's a little bit hard to find. Okay, accuracy. This gun has the worst reputation for accuracy in the world, and that's due to the fact that it is heavy, has a light trigger, and has what are supposedly poor sights. I am going to go against everybody else here and tell you that this gun is quite possibly the most accurate gun you're ever going to shoot. From the bench. Holding it up, the weight kind of gets to you. But they improved the sights on this Mac. You can see that is an AK front sight blade. And they made a U-notch rear. And the better sights, combined with the very nice trigger that this has, except for the fact that it has trigger slap. Well, I'll cover that in a second. Has a very nice crisp trigger, a very long fixed barrel, and very good sights, and a lot of weight to absorb recoil. The combination makes this gun super accurate. Okay, we're talking at 50 yards, you could probably do an inch with this off the bench. Okay, offhand, you're going to open up considerably because you're holding up a big hunk of steel. And isometrics is a bitch. It's very accurate. The end of accuracy category. Size and weight. The gun weighs like 40 pounds. It is huge. It's not like 40 pounds. It's like, I'd say a few pounds. Okay, it's like carrying around several Glocks. But, for what it's made for, yeah, you're going to get that. It was originally made for fully automatic fire. Ergonomics. We're going to get the trigger here. Well, first off, the pistol grip sucks ergonomically. Now, the hook handle does help that a little bit, and the other thing that helps that is a grip made by usmachineguns.com. I did not order this because it's like 70 bucks and I just don't see the point, but it looks like it would solve the main problem this has, which is, if I can hold this for you, you see how my hand has that angle in it right there? That's empty. Okay, there's nothing touching me there, and it just feels wrong. Okay, the grip that US Machine Guns sells fixes that, supposedly. Okay, so if you want to risk the 70 bucks and order one, go ahead. The hook handle does okay. It basically makes it a little grippy. The bulge is in the complete wrong place. Okay, the trigger. The Macs have been notoriously known for their trigger slap. And I have to agree with that. The first time I shot this, I took what is referred to as the trigger condom, this little piece there, off, and tried shooting it without it. And yeah, it hurts quite a bit actually. With the trigger condom on, it's not too bad. And that's why it's still on there now, because it does make it more comfortable. And this gun is not a beauty queen anyway, so who cares if it has a piece of plastic wrapped around its trigger. Let's see. Oh, ergonomically. Sorry, I lost my place. That charging handle, which I opted for the top cocking because I think it's more traditional. But this charging handle is too small and not knurled at all. They do make a replacement. It's like 20 bucks. I am going to get that eventually. Not right now. The one that's on there does work. I just don't really like it. Materials used. I don't think there's any part of this gun that isn't steel, except for this little backstrap piece here. Every other part on the entire gun is pretty much steel. Kind of impressive, actually. I mean, if you think about it. In a day and age where aluminum and plastic have taken over so many guns, this gun actually could be made out of steel and wood. You could very easily have that back piece made out of wood, or hell, even steel. It's a big hunk of steel. Durability and reliability. I'm going to take this apart now to show this, because there's nothing that can go wrong in this. You take this apart, you remove this pin. Let me do this off camera. Okay, you pull that out, set it aside, and then there's a second pin that you push out. It helps to have fingernails to do this. And then this whole assembly comes off. Now, remember when I was talking about the CNC machining being so critical? Well, this is what we're talking about here. This is probably the heart and soul of the gun. It's the bolt. If you don't get this right, you don't get anything right. That's all there is to the gun. So, if less is more, this gun definitely is. You get more reliable when you get less parts. This gun has less parts. This is actually simpler than an AK-47. I can say that pretty soundly. The AK-47 has a gas system. This is straight blowback, which also is why the pistol is so huge. It's kind of like a high point. High points are huge because they're straight blowback. Variations. I already talked about the 45 caliber version of this. Let me put this together and talk at the same time. There's also a rifle version of the 45 and the 9mm. And I would not get them. Just me personally. This gun's basically meant to be bump fired. Sorry, I'm doing this off camera. This gun's basically meant to be bump fired, and when you put it to the shoulder, you lose that ability. Okay, now we're back together. See? Field stripped in no time, and put back together in no time. Like I said, I wouldn't buy the rifle versions. I would SBR this. It would be a very cheap SBR. I mean, you have $375 for the gun. The shoulder stock that Masterpiece makes is, I think, like 45 bucks, 50 bucks, and the tax stamp's $200. So for, sorry, $6 1/4, you have an SBR. That's very awesome. Accessories. Talked about the shoulder stock already, and the magazines, and the loader actually, so we can skip that. We didn't talk about was this. There's a whole host of end of barrel accessories for this gun. Everything from compensators and flash hiders to foregrips like this. Now, this is the grip it comes with. I would highly recommend that you get a ventilated grip, because after 2 magazines this becomes too hot to handle and kind of makes it impossible to bump fire anymore. The other things they do make to go on the front of it are a vertical grip if you do the paperwork for it, that attaches via this ring right here. They also make a force strap, which I would highly recommend getting if you're going to run any of the barrel extensions, because you can loop your hand into it and it keeps it from going in front of the barrel. It's meant to kind of give you a vertical grip out there without having a vertical grip. It is perfectly legal to attach one, according to everything I've read. Before I did it, I would definitely obtain a letter from the ATF saying that it was legal, because it's kind of one of those debatable things. 20 minutes in, God. Compatibility with your systems. If you have a Sten gun, you should just go out and buy one of these. It's pretty awesome that it takes Sten mags. If you're a big 9mm fan, or a 45 fan for that matter, just go ahead and get one. I mean, it wouldn't cost you anything. You don't need a big pile of magazines. You could have a couple of mags in the gun and just call it good. Value. For a gun that only costs $375, the gun is very robust, reliable. It will outlast you. It's very accurate, and it has high capacity magazines. It's really an incredible value for what you're paying. I mean, what other gun that's under $400 can match all of those qualities? Yeah, is it a little impractical? Yes. I almost forgot to mention too, it does have a lot of muzzle flip. Just because of the way it is, it likes to do this. It's just part of the beast. But there's no other guns out there that can really match this, except for maybe a Kel-Tec Sub 2000 could probably do it. A used Glock could probably do it. Those would be the only two, though. It's a very competitive gun. And notice the other two options I mentioned are polymer and plastic. And I would definitely trust my life to this before I would a Kel-Tec Sub 2000. I used to own a Kel-Tec Sub 2000, and they are very fragile in my opinion. It is the only Kel-Tec product that I intend on owning again. It's a nice little rifle, but you really can't be too rough with it. I dropped mine down a staircase and broke several pieces of it. Kind of stopped trusting it after that. Your gun should be able to fall down a flight of stairs and not be broken, in my opinion. Thanks for watching this extremely long video. Be sure to thumbs up the video and please subscribe. Have a nice night.